Hi everyone, it's Olga Zar from SEO Sly. Welcome to SEO Podcast by SEO Sly. Today my guest is Gus Pelogia. Gus, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm well as well, and I often record in the evening. It will be, I think, one of the few episodes with daylight, so that's good. Okay, Gus, so can you briefly introduce yourself for people who don't know you? Who are you up to when it comes to SEO? Where are you based?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Gus Pelogia. I've been doing SEO for 11 years now. I'm from Brazil and I started jumping countries. I did a bit of SEO in Argentina, and then I did a few years in Holland, and the last 6 years I've been in Ireland. And I did a bit of everything in SEO from agency to in house to link building to content. And what I'm doing now, I work as an SEO product manager at Indeed, and it's definitely the most exciting SEO role I ever had.
Wow, wow. So I'm pretty sure your SEO story will be very interesting because this is what I would like to focus on today. So can you take me way back into your beginnings? How did you start with SEO? How did it all happen that you landed in the SEO world? And when exactly did you start?
Yeah, so I actually graduated in journalism and I thought my life would be in the newsrooms. I wanted to be a music journalist, travel with bands, interview bands, even wrote a book, um, like a
Oh.
Rolling Stone style, interviewing different, people from the punk rock scene in
Mhm.
Brazil, from musicians to producers and, everyone in between. And I was for sure that that was my dream career. But at some point, I also wanted to live abroad for a little bit, even if it was, 3 months and then come back. I had that desire.
Mhm.
And it's been quite some time now, 11, 12 years, can't even remember. Um, but so I moved from Brazil to Argentina to learn Spanish and stick for a few months and see what would happen. And I started meeting people. I got an internship at the Spanish school, and the person that was my boss right there, he started, talking about SEO and saying, oh, there's this thing about links, and there's a bit of, you should write a couple of blog posts about this and that. And that was my first introduction to it. Um, in that same school, I was an intern for 3, 4 months, learned Spanish properly, and moved on. But I got very close with one of the owners, and he knew people at an OTA, an online travel agency that it was, or maybe still is, the biggest one in South America at the time. So one time he just brings me to play football and say, "Hey, this guy's looking for a job," and introduced me to a director. And a couple of months later, I got my first SEO role, and again, it was like I think that was the first moment that I made a connection with both things that I had studied in life. I did journalism school, but in high school I did a bit of IT. So like the foundation for coding, foundation for hardware, like all the very basics, and HTML is one of those things. So for me was, oh, so if I look at the code, I can understand what the page is about, and I can, so those ideas about the page titles and descriptions and links, those things I had done a bit of, handwriting or hard coding some of these things. So for me, it was putting together both things that I had studied before. I was very confident in me in my ability to create stories to get links, and understanding as well that I could make a few changes on the page and see how they would perform. So it was very exciting to find a new career that happened to involve the only two things I had studied in life until then.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. And can you tell me more about your first SEO job? What exactly you were doing there? What were
Yeah,
the
so
responsibilities?
it was a company called despegar.com, or in Brazil was decolar.com, and just means takeoff.com. Um, and I was doing a bit of content. So on all the landing pages we had, like there was one specific keyword that it was 50% of all the revenue we would get from SEO. So essentially,
Uh-huh.
we spend most of the time just monitoring one keyword. And there were a lot of things that we would do, like maybe you'd get a couple links and you look back the next day, people say, oh, you're number one again. Okay, we fixed this. And then as you get a little bit more into SEO and you learn how things work and see different scenarios, you look at it, it's like, oh, actually, that link just made no difference at all. Like Google was just testing, whatever, it's just bouncing back every other day. We could be on the holidays, we would go back to position one. And so it
Uh-huh.
was interesting to see the excitement and the certainty people had about things, and later just reflect on the actual impact you're having. But I do remember doing a campaign that got some links on big publications, and even the CEO came to email me about it, which was we wanted to show, it was an infographic back in the days. Remember
Uh-huh.
infographics?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was how much it was a price of how much would cost to watch all of the, it wasn't even the World Cup, it was some football competition, I think Confederations Cup or something. How much would it cost to travel to see Brazil in all the games.
Mm-hmm.
So it was simply just here's a price estimation of flights between the city and that city, and how much is the average ticket for the match. So, and it was an interesting thing, because after we spent a lot of resources making the infographic and whatnot, some publications made their own infographic, and then I kind of realized, actually, maybe I didn't really need the infographic at all. The story is what mattered here, really. Like,
Uh-huh.
people wanted to know, okay, so if I want to see Brazil in all of these matches in this competition, this is how much money it costs. Like, okay, that's interesting. But the
Uh-huh.
infographic was just a way to display that. It wasn't really the main source of information, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, so can you tell me more about like storytelling telling and link building? Because I think you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, so I think my first years in SEO were quite a lot about this, because that was the knowledge that I had. Like, as a journalist, I'll be getting press releases all day long, and get PR people calling me and trying to convince you about things. And yeah, I think for me it was always interesting to try to find stories on something. Like, you can get some boring information and turn into something exciting. And I did another campaign many years later about things that people lose at the airport. And the story actually happened because I lost a Kindle in a trip to Italy. And I started checking with all the airlines and the airports to see if they had a lost and found. And one airport actually had a list of everything that people lost in there. So they were classifying, oh, passport, ID, driver's license, or computer, phone, tablet, and so I essentially just bundled together into fewer categories and put into percentages and say, here are the things that people tend to lose at the airport. And it got some good coverage as well. The information was already there. I just packed on a different way, and having myself the experience of losing something, I realized that was an interesting story to put together. So I think it's about looking for stories on places that maybe the information's already there, you just need to package in a different way.
Okay, okay, awesome. And can you tell me more about your current job and indeed what exactly you do there? Because I think
Yeah,
this is going to be interesting.
yeah, so it is completely different from everything we've discussed until now. um, I joined indeed as an SEO manager. So I would be looking after some of the content, we'll be writing on the product that I work for, and things like that, working with writers. But then the person that was doing the product management for us decided to leave, and this was maybe less than 2 months that I was in the company. So my boss asked me, "Hey, you seem to be very interested in a lot of the technical things we do, and you know how to explain SEO lingo into something that is more manageable for people that are not in our universe. Are you interested in taking his role? And that's where we are. So it just opened a whole avenue for me into thinking like a product manager. And so yeah, like on day to day, what I try to do is I pitch ideas for things we want to develop and the impact they would have in SEO. And once that pitch is approved by my manager or by other stakeholders, then we spend a couple of months developing certain features for the website.
Okay, and can you name some of the features you have developed so far?
Yeah,
That
so we did something on internal linking. So there's there are always different ways to surface things. Um, but the product that I have has hundreds of thousands of pages, and we noticed that
yeah.
a lot of those wouldn't really get a lot of internal link value or internal link love. And once you get into a certain size, it's very difficult to find spaces and say, okay, let's just go one by one here and keep adding links. So we found different modules to bulk it up, how we distribute that link equity. Maybe like the way we did was category based. So if you have, let's say, articles that belong to finding a job, essentially found a way to rotate those links that needed those articles that needed most attention into that sort of a footer that we have. Sometimes you do things together with different teams, right? So I spotted a few cases where I wanted to do something and UX was already doing it, so I just joined
Mhm.
something that they were doing. So we wanted to do some work on clustering content. So okay, those articles are similar to those other ones. How can we do it? And before we got into any SEO, there was someone from UX saying, okay, semantically, it makes sense to connect these articles because this will improve the user experience when they're reading an article about how to behave in an interview. Probably the next thing they want to do is how to ace a group interview or how to introduce yourself or things like that. So some of the steps will happen or should happen without any SEO in mind. So I kind of just joined forces and said, okay, I have engineering resources to help you with the implementation of this while UX is taking care of the business idea behind it.
Uh-huh. And regarding those link optimizations, internal linking, can you share some results you got from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be the numbers won't necessarily make a lot of sense if you are not in the product,
Uh-huh.
uh, but we do have a few things in terms of millions. So like one of these modules got us an increase of 2 million sessions per month,
Oh, I think that's
uh,
sounds nice.
which is very nice. But something that I find it very interesting with Indeed in general, and maybe other companies do something things that are similar to this as well, but I haven't seen before working in smaller places, is that we have a separate team that's called marketing science, and they are looking to impacts of different initiatives. So you know how in SEO is very difficult to say, right? Oh, this is happening because we added 50 links
Yeah,
to this page. Like, well, it could have been a Google update. It could have been a competitor that messed up on something. It could have been anything.
exactly.
But they do a lot of work with creating test and control groups. So they'll consider seasonality. They'll consider different factors along as long as one group had a change, another group didn't have it. They're able to compare what is the impact that change had. So I can actually pinpoint and say, this feature was responsible for 20% of the traffic increase or 10% or whatever it is. And that calculation happens without SEO in mind. which I think is really good, because otherwise we'll tend to say, oh, this only happened because we did this. But they can,
Mhm.
they look into statistically on a way that is outside of our universe, and also take a lot of the SEO lingo out of it, and just give a like a well-packed number to say, this is what happened, this is the percentage increase in traffic and in, account creates or reach or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. And what are, can you name like the biggest challenges in your current job, except for SEO being like hard to assess actually its impact?
Yeah, I think one thing that is difficult is to measure actual the I would say probably measure the potential impact of certain features before, let's say, if I do another version of this internal linking play we did, I already have a benchmark, so I can say I expect this or that. But if you're doing something completely new, that initial impact is hard to predict. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say if you want to do something on, let's say we did a piece of work on hreflang, um, finding a way to automate that work with writers. So once we give them a brief, they already find an equivalent on our product on a different language, and we are able to connect all of this. So I don't have to go and manually add hreflang, but my editors are already doing that,
Mm-hmm.
even outside my CMS.
Okay.
Um, but that's hard to measure the impact, right? So I think when it comes to really big initiatives, and because from time to time I will be pitching this, our plans and what we want to do to a director or to my head of product, and I have to convince that person without any SEO lingo what is the potential impact that something's gonna have. And like I've been even trying to do things like getting the total search potential for a page instead of looking to keywords. And then
Mm-hmm.
I realize, oh, I have this information, but I'm missing, information for 10,000 pages that I can't find anywhere else. So my estimations will be much lower than what I really expect that we can reach. But I can just go and say, well, we don't have we are underestimating this or we are overestimating this. So convincing people of the impact of really large initiatives, I think that's the biggest challenge that I have right now.
Okay, that's interesting. And now, can you tell me what's the favorite part of SEO you like the most? The favorite part of your job,
I think, well, so
and
this,
why?
I think this changes from time to time.
Uh huh.
When I worked in agencies before, I would have 6 months that I would only think about technical SEO, and then I wanted really to get bot visits and understand what was happening there. And then
Uh
for six
huh.
months, my whole life, sorry, then for 6 months, my whole life would be local SEO. It's like everything you
Okay.
can optimize on GMB. How can you automate? How can you get more reviews? Are these pictures right? And how can we, um, verify all of these locations in bulk at once? And then for 6 months, it's link building. Whichever area that I see there's an opening that I'm interested, and I look around and there's nobody around me that really owns that area, I will spend a few months just doing that. And that's where I am now with product. So I am trying to connect everything from SEO, UX, and we have an activation team, which is essentially the conversion team. So how can we work together, and how the SEO initiatives actually will make sense, not just because SEO wants to do it, not just because we're going to bring more people to the website, but how all of these interactions and all these different teams can work together. It can be something very silly, like we were doing something on, again, internal linking again, and I was talking with UX and say, oh, so we see all of these opportunities in content. Those pages are not interlinked with a proper anchor, and UX comes back to me and say, well, can I take a look at these anchors before we change, before you change hundreds of them? Because I spotted something here that a user would expect to go to a job page, to a job search page, instead of going to another article, which was an interesting thing because although, I mean, this is pretty obvious, right? Someone is reading an article and they get into a page like, oh, what this means. They click and go to the next page. But as SEOs, we tend to think, oh, I want to rank this page for this keyword. So let
Uh-huh.
me put a link with this in here. But the ultimate goal, it's not necessarily people going to the next article, right? Like we want to do that internal link, um, get all of that internal link power, but for the user, they want to find information. So I kind of realized, well, actually, this anchor doesn't make sense if I'm thinking about the people that are on this page. So, or I change my anchor, or I actually get that anchor to link to the page that matters for the user, not necessarily that page that matters for me as an SEO. So you kind of need to put like those things together, or like we are working on a feature that both SEO and the conversion teams can use. But it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
to put all of these things together and make sure that what we are doing is not just for SEO, but it's actually for the user. And even if I want to think on a smaller scale, to make sure that all of the teams that are contributing for something can actually have their opinion and contribute the best way possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, very, very interesting that you mentioned conversion and SEO and that they sometimes like to clash. I think recently someone ran a poll on Twitter asking if we SEOs should also be responsible for conversions. And I think the majority said yes, but I still think that a lot of SEOs don't necessarily think about conversions. Can you maybe share some tips for SEOs regarding how to increase their awareness of that, how to be a better SEO with that in mind?
Yeah, I mean, conversion is it's the reason why we do things, right? Just bringing people to a page doesn't pay the
Yeah.
bill, and it's I think I started getting a lot of that awareness when I became on a previous job I became an account manager, and I would be working with clients a bit on the SEO strategy and getting someone in the team to execute, and also working with the social PPC and so on. But when I will talk with a client once a month for half an hour, they don't care about you know, that Google bots started visiting those pages
Yeah.
or that we added structured data. Oh, Google is picking up the FAQ that we put in, or we create a new about us page and we explain EAT. They want to know, am I making money?
Yeah.
Are you bringing the people that I need? So, I'll convert them offline. I have a system for it, but I need to find the people that are interested in this first. And so once you take that, once you put that head that your goal is not just to bring numbers to a page, but transform that into something else, transform that into business and into money. That's when your mindset also changes, and you stop looking to sure traffic is nice. We can be aligned there. There is a correlation: more traffic, more or more conversions, but it's not always the case. So you need to start looking for ways to make that connection.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
look into you know what are the types of pages that will have more conversion for you. Maybe blogs tend to have a lower conversion, but could you have maybe test different CTAs on a page that you have a lot of traffic? um, you already have the people in. Is there a way to filter them or turn them into from a, I don't know, free trial into an MQL, or I don't know what are the goals that you might have, but transform that
Uh-huh.
traffic into something else.
Sure. Like some time ago, I was auditing a site, and I think this site had a lot of GA goals. And when I looked at conversions, it looked like awesome, like 100 or 200 conversions every day. Seems awesome. But then when I kind of analyzed it more deeply, it looked like the conversions were like totally irrelevant, that they didn't even matter. I don't even remember what was, but basically almost anything counted as conversion, kind of any action, whether it was relevant or irrelevant. So I would say the definition of what is really a conversion for us is also an important thing, in addition to tracking it correctly and
Yeah,
tracking the
yeah,
traffic. Yeah.
big time. Yeah, and sometimes you have to take things really like completely offline. I
Yeah.
worked with a company on the medical universe. It's like a private clinic for men's health,
Uh-huh.
and we would have like a lot of conversations about they knew very little about online marketing. They was just a doctor who wanted more men with problems for him to deal with, and we had long conversations. They would sometimes get like a nod lead that didn't really make sense, and they would be mad at us like, oh, I keep getting once a month there's this lead from Ireland, where I happen to be based as well,
Uh-huh.
and we when we call back they never pick it up. I can see this is a fake lead, and it would come, I don't know why, it would come like every same day of the month. Something like this would happen. So after a lot of conversations with them, we started filtering what we would count as a lead under some other criteria that they have. And at the end of the day, the leads wouldn't just be on Google Analytics anymore. They would just be on a sheet. And
Uh-huh.
talking with them, they started saying, "Oh, it usually takes somewhere between 3 and 6 months from the moment someone gets in touch with us until they come to the clinic and they make a payment or they start a treatment." And then we started incorporating that into our process as well. So they would report back to us to say,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, these leads became patients." So we were able to say, "Okay, the money you're spending here, it's turning to money on the other end." And because then the volume wasn't too big, we could actually go back and match, this is a person that came through SEO or PPC, and they spend, I don't know, 10, 20 grand with you. So sometimes you can take a bit of the technology out and go
Mm-hmm.
offline, or take another place to find where things are actually happening, and transform that into something that is meaningful for your client.
Yeah, sure. And I also have an interesting case. It was a bit different, but a company came to me and they ended work with their previous agency. And the moment they ended work in Google Analytics, they lost practically all of the traffic, most of the traffic. And at first, it looked a bit odd because they lost organic traffic. So I was wondering what happened, what's
Yeah,
going on. And then I didn't solve it 100%, but what I think happened is that they had someone hired who was simply clicking, like making a search on Google for top 2 or 3 keywords every day. And they simply stopped that the moment they ended. And this was the kind of traffic they were having, like, I don't remember, a couple of hundred visits per day, but they were like totally useless, right? And not
yeah,
converting.
yeah. That's another way, like, to show that traffic sometimes is just meaningless.
No.
But yeah, that's very sneaky of them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you work remotely or do you go to the
I I
office?
I go to the office once in a while, but I mostly work remotely. Um, my team is also remote, but mostly in US. I have two colleagues
Hmm.
in Ireland, which also means that sometimes I work the odd hour um, in the evening, especially when we have sprint plannings and things like that. But I do have a lot of freedom. I can start at 8 a.m. or I can start at 10 or 11. Today I went to bring the car for a check-in, checkup. So I'm only started working later in the day, but I know I'm gonna work a little bit in the evening as well, which is fine. And yeah, I do miss the office a little bit. I go sometimes for the free food and the barista, and just to be on a different place, like take a little walk,
Uh-huh.
listen to a podcast on my way there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, mostly just work from home.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I transitioned from office to like fully remote, I think around 4 or 5 years ago. And the moment I managed to do that, I never really missed going to the office.
Yeah, I think for yeah, also what changed for me as well is that I moved outside Dublin, so getting
Mhm.
to the office is maybe a 40 minutes
Drive.
trip, when before would be a 10 minutes walk to the office.
Uh-huh.
And I also have a 1 year old.
Oh
And
yeah. So
so, you never know, like we were talking before we started recording today, my day started at 5 a.m. and it was like, you know what? We slept from 9 to 5. This is actually good sleep. I feel refreshed. So
uh-huh.
baby went back asleep for another hour. It was like I might just start my day. I rather start on my own terms instead of sleeping
Uh-huh.
for another 20 minutes and then I start getting deep asleep and I have to wake up and you
Uh-huh.
don't feel refreshed anymore. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna have my coffee in peace and enjoy this little hour that I have in the morning.
Yeah, awesome. So my next question was supposed to be like, what does your day look like in this remote environment?
Yeah, so I was listening to some of the other podcasts, I think with Lydia,
Mm-hmm.
and as I was listening, I think you asked her the same question, and I started already thinking like, oh, what would I answer? And the first thing that I like to do in the morning that gets me very excited for the day is to get those Jira updates on my email, so I know that tickets that I've been waiting for were completed. So I
Uh-huh.
say, okay, I'm waiting for, I don't know, this structured data to be implemented or for this change that we expect is gonna impact the page speed. Okay, oh, this was done. Okay, I'm excited to go and start tracking the results. So if I see that there is an important ticket that was complete, my day it's already I already started the day very excited. And but yeah, a bit of work in the morning, different times. I can sometimes start at 5, sometimes start at 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I have pretty much, heads down time until 3 or 4 p.m. And then meetings start from 4 to 6 or 3 to 5 and then 8 to 9, or there's something in the evening, 1 hour or so. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my day. Often I think, oh, this day is really quiet, not much to do, not a lot of pressure to deliver something today. And then you think, oh, things are too quiet. I should find something to get myself busy.
Uh-huh.
And when you realize it's at 4 p.m. and then everybody's online and all the questions, all the Slack messages I sent to people when they were sleeping, they started answering. And then at 6 p.m., I'm like, I have so much to do.
It's very similar with me because yes, I'm also like in the European time zone and most of my clients are in the US. So like yeah, until 3 p.m. I am mostly like free and then usually
And
things
then
start
boom,
to happen.
everything
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
Yeah. And
The
then
same.
I want to finish the day. I maybe feeding my baby or cleaning the house or something, and then a message pops in. I'm like, if I answer to this now, they can't finish this tonight
Yeah.
instead of waiting for another 2 days. So I end up doing a bit of extra, end up being a little extra work on my phone.
Yeah, yeah. I also do some work on my phone. Okay, so can you tell me how do you stay up to date with SEO? How do you learn SEO?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how people do on this. So I have two methods. One, I need to have on my son on board a daily SEO or competitor read. So or spend some time on a competitor website, even if it's just like reading, something that they publish or looking at a job posting, not necessarily with SEO in mind, but just to understand the experience, to stay up to date on how they're doing things. Or I have a daily SEO read, search engine land, get an email every day at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. now because of daylight savings. SEO FOMO once a week. But I do tend to just like do have short reads from on this daily thing. And from time to time, if I really find a problem that I can't solve or something that I've been postponing for a while, suddenly I might spend 1 or 2 full days just reading. So I go, how do you connect all of these pieces up to structured data? So I'm gonna read different blogs. I'm gonna write a bit of code myself and put it together and start developing my own theories. So, I might just do like a 2 day sprint on reading, and then I forget about it for weeks, and then I go back on, very intense reading for short periods
Or for 6 months.
or for 6 months.
That's interesting because I think it gives you a bit of deeper knowledge on basically all SEO aspects. Because like for me, I always was about like more about technical SEO, SEO auditing, and I still think that, for example, when it comes to local SEO, I should do this deep dive for 6 months or something.
Yeah, I feel like if I don't do this deep dive from time to time, you might just end up repeating what other people are saying. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
oh, sure, Google said that this is what's happening. Okay, but on this deep dive, like I don't know, things that now I do all the time that I learned from the deep dives would be, use a custom extraction or custom search on Screaming Frog. So
Uh-huh.
it's something that I discovered in one of these deep dives years ago, and now I use every other week. Like I want to say, oh, are these guys using alters? What's the percentage of pages that they have with alters versus not, or how many mentions we have to this anchor on our website and things like that. But and I keep showing to people, every I don't know, every couple of months I show to someone else, oh, you can do this with Screaming Frogs. Like, oh, really? And it would only, I only worked on it because of one of these deep dives that I actually like, okay, I tried the rejects that it didn't work 5 times until you finally get it right. Or sometimes
Uh-huh.
I'm Googling the same thing again, but I already spun, oh yeah, I was on this website before. It was this page had the answer for me. And I see myself doing the same steps again. But because I already know the hard way, I know where I started researching, and then I know where the next step is.
And are you now introducing ChatGPT into your SEO tool set?
Personally, not too much. My wife is using all the time. She works in product marketing, product marketing management, and she's very excited about it. And I'm playing a little bit with Bing to understand what would be the impact straight away. And it's interesting. I don't know what the real impact will be. A lot of people question the answers, and because it's so open, it's very easy to find a lot of examples where things are not going well,
Mm-hmm.
and you always will, right? You can format a question. You can ask the same questions in 10 different ways until you find one that has a problem. Say, oh, look at this. Nobody can trust this. But I don't
Uh-huh.
know how people will use it on the day to day. I'm curious to see it. Um, as everybody else, I'm a little bit worried, but also aware that it's not a choice. It's something we
Yeah.
have to embrace. If I'm worried or not, if I say good or bad things about it, it doesn't really matter too much. If people are using in a high scale, or you join the game, or you're not playing the game anymore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And what would be your tips for someone just starting out in SEO? What should they be doing? What shouldn't they be doing?
I think as um, I mean, I gave this advice a lot of times, and I've heard from a lot of people as well, is that you just have to go and test things yourself. Um, if you're starting SEO, maybe you're a junior at an agency or you just got an internship, um, pick a topic that you like, create your own website, start looking at the Search Console and seeing things that are happening on a place that you can just do whatever you want. Um, because if you're working with a client and you want to make a change, you need their approval. There's so many
Yeah.
layers until something gets done, and it might not get done the way you want. So, like in one of those deep dives years ago, I'll be on, okay, I really want to understand how the structured data thing works. So I would start copy and paste code, and it wouldn't work. But and I made it work at the end, but only because I had my own website. So I could just create something there. If a page broke or if something disappeared for whatever reason, it's okay because it's not anybody's resource or anybody else's money. So you can have that place to do things the way you want. And I think there's a different meaning as well for you. Like I have my SEO website. I publish every, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 months. For
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, I publish an article, and it has a different meaning when you look at GA and say, "Oh, I got this many visits. Oh, what? Who are the referral sources?" Like, "Oh, I'm on this newsletter that I didn't know," and it has a much different meaning than it just looking at a client. Oh, yeah, you had 100% increase month to month on MQLs. Are you interested in spending some more money on PPC or
Yeah.
giving them a different opportunity? You're just so proud of what you achieved that people are interested on purely your thoughts and not you representing someone else. Um, and it makes you a lot more excited about trying new things and building things. So my advice is start your own website on any topic that you're passionate about.
That's a great insight. I can honestly say that nothing makes me as happy as seeing a spike in GA for my own website or GSC.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. Uh, who would you like to give a shout out to? Who should we start following?
So I'm gonna give a shout out to three people.
Mm-hmm.
One is Leda Solis. She already got shout outs here before, but I think she's such a nice person. She, as Lydia said on her podcast, she just brings people up.
Yeah,
Like she gives shout out to a lot of people. She gives opportunity to a lot of people to make their names and highlight. So, and it's very
yeah,
nice when you see someone on the top that is bringing a lot more people uh, to join them. And Barry Adams, I mentioned his name many times as well. Some people love him, some people hate him, and he
I
has
love
always
him.
been he has always been so nice to me. From I don't know how many years ago, the day I met him, he invited me to write for State of Digital, and I was on a transition, considering moving to Dublin, and a lot of things happened around that period that made me very excited about taking the leap and moving, and just meeting him, and it's like, oh, this is like a top SEO, and it's giving me attention. We're having a chat, and I'm learning a lot, and he's inviting me to write for a website that he manages. And every other time that I ask him something, he would give me a good answer. So I like very very much, and I would like to give a final shout out to my boss, actually, not just because
Mm-hmm.
he's my boss, but because he's honestly a very good manager. He knows how to manage things that maybe other people would get a bit too stressed about, and I don't see him even when something's not going in the right direction. I can see he's really good talking with different stakeholders within SEO and outside SEO and putting a plan together. And from I had a I where I only had very few cases where I had a really bad manager, but he's very open with me even when things are not the best scenario. He will tell me, actually, I don't know how to do this. Let's try to find out with
Yeah,
someone else, maybe this person, that person. And I like that honesty on things in general. His name is Sam Brennan, by the way. Don't know if I mentioned before, but great
I
friend.
think you haven't, yeah. Okay, awesome. So where can people find you and follow you? What's the best place?
Yeah, I am on LinkedIn, Gus Pelogia. I'm on Twitter as well, and at Pelogia. And after 4 years, I will go again to Brighton in April.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's been quite some time since I've been to conference, and I'm quite excited to meet in person um, people, like contacts that I've made in the last few years that
Yeah.
have been some people even had video calls, but I've never actually met in person.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm looking forward to it.
are you going to be a speaker?
No, no. I pitched a couple of times, never got a yes. I
Yeah,
will pitch again
me
for
too. Me too. I
September.
also pitched
Let's
and
see.
also didn't get there, but I am going as an attendee.
I will be ready. So my strategy now is I'm gonna have a pitch ready this month. And
Hmm.
because usually the day
The
after the
first.
conference is when Kevin is saying, okay, we're looking for speakers. So I want to have that ready for the moment that they're looking at
Uh-huh.
at the pitches, mine is already there.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good strategy.
So let's see. I've been a bit late in
Yeah, me
the
too. Me
last time,
too.
so that could be a reason
Yeah.
that I didn't get in, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Fingers
Awesome.
crossed for us.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you. Thank you so much for this talk. It was super interesting.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Hopefully, the people that are listening also got something interesting from it.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. So thanks everyone and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Right. Bye.